Hello, my name's Drew Wilson. I'm a coach with Glasgow Life. One of the things we've started to do recently is to take walking football into areas where we believe there's a big need. The last 2 years and over lockdown, we've lost touch with people who played football with dementia, with Parkinson's, and we've started up 2 new sessions. We have a dementia session based on a Wednesday down at Tory Glen, and a Parkinson's dedicated session on a Thursday down at Tory Glen. I can assure you that you'll have fun. We will work with Football Memories Scotland, and they will provide a link back to football that you might never have thought about. So please come and join us. It's going to be a really good session. Warm welcome, loads of fun, and a cup of tea afterwards. What's not to like? It's free. That's better.
Drew Wilson.
Hey,
how you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. You missed this morning's game.
Bit wet.
I phoned you because I thought, I'm sure he'll be here after yesterday. Talk us through yesterday's incident for the benefit of all our internet viewers, because it's going viral as we speak.
Absolutely right. It was sublime to the ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
A James Tavernier type bended shot that curved
Yeah.
into
I love the curve
corner.
that you used there.
Curve, yeah, just below the bar.
Just below the
into
bar.
the top left-hand corner.
Uh-huh. Because I've got VAR footage that would contradict that. But I tell you what we'll do, we'll have a phone in.
We could have a phone.
We'll let folk vote online whether they think it's a goal or not. Were you up for that? You'll take the decision?
I'm happy to. Do you know, regardless of the decision, it was a thing of beauty.
That's true. I actually scored one like that at Bellahouston once. It went over the bar and came back down top corner, similar to yours. Better probably. Yeah. But the coach at the time was Andy Webster, and Andy said, "I'm going to give you that because it was a thing of beauty, big man."
Did he say that?
Aye. That's the last goal I scored actually. That's 4 years ago. That's why I don't play now.
I remember it.
I just retired on the back of
We're
that.
not the coach's circle.
I wasn't really thinking about the sublime though. I was more interested
in the ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, that was just a wee moment of madness as I nosedived into the corner.
Yeah, one of those moments where your body's going at a certain speed but your legs can't match it. Is that a fair assumption?
It was a kind of roadrunner moment. It's kind of everything was going quicker and the wall was coming in.
The great thing about walking football though is the camaraderie, because I watched the footage again for the 300th time, and what I noticed was all your colleagues rallying round.
It was.
To laugh at you.
The sympathy was amazing. It was amazing. It was just
pointing as well.
Yep. But then again, that corner. You know how you've got like these corners at Brands Hatch. You know, you've got hangers and all that.
Yeah.
Wilson's corner would be nice.
Yeah. Well, maybe bring a shovel next time and bury you there.
It's a lot better if your ashes scattered over Ben Nevis or something.
True. Can you remember when you first heard about walking football?
Yes, I did.
What was your first impression of what it might be?
So, I was in the process of retiring.
Right. What did you do?
I was a sales guy with IBM.
Okay.
And spent a lot of time in London and not too much time at home. So, I put my resignation in and, you know, the old personal thing, went to the hotel in London and I was sitting going, I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. And I'm clicking the channels.
Mm-hmm. We don't need to hear the channels. No. They're quite expensive though.
Absolutely, but it was the front end of the channels. It wasn't up in the 800s. So, ITV or the London Broadcasting Corporation, whatever it is, down there, came up, and Barclays Bank at that time were advertising walking football.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, well, that's... Do you know what? I haven't even played for a while. That could be a...
How long had you not played football for?
I stopped playing when I was in my 30s, so...
20 years maybe?
Good 20 years.
You were 55 at this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
because I think there's a lot of people fall into that category. They've got a 20-year gap where they've not played football.
Aye, and... Well, if you go back to when we were kind of playing it, I'm assuming you're a similar age or older to me.
Okay,
get the retaliation in there. That you kind of get families and you kind of drift away from the game.
Yeah.
You know,
work and commitments, and you're working down south all the time. You can't commit to a team or anything.
Absolutely. So you drift away.
And importantly, there wasn't any facilities for us.
No.
Nobody caters for people in the 40s, 50s. Maybe now there's over 35s leagues and things.
The big change, I think, was when pitches and these types of guys, the commercial guys, got into the business.
Yeah.
Because that gave the availability of older guys.
Yeah.
To book it and get themselves together. Pub. What was the old pub teams kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what you doing on Thursday? I'll rock up and we'll have an 8-a-side. But the times are like bonkers because it's like 10:30. Who plays football 10:30 on a Thursday night?
That's right. So you immediately thought there was something there for you. Not like
absolutely.
Most people who think that's ridiculous walking football, because I was in that camp.
So I'm kind of mixed with this.
Okay.
It's not for me thing, because I think it's not for you until you try it.
First 10 minutes, I say.
Yeah,
hooked.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a friend who played off one. He played off scratch at one point, but he was playing off one at this time. Golf. His handicap was one, so a good golfer. Played in East Kilbride, and his handicap started to slip as he got older. He's now in his 70s, but he quit golf about 8 years ago because he was playing off 4, and he couldn't handle that, not being as good. So there's that type of person as well, that either they play all in or not at all. And walking football, I think, caters for all of these people.
It does, and I think when you see somebody coming into the group, right, like yesterday was the first time I played in a month, so my balance was shot.
You're joking.
Absolutely. So I had that wee catastrophe. And you've got guys who come in, so their balance is gone, there's lots of things that, they're not as flexible. Coordination's absolutely right.
And a lot of people get injured that first few games.
Absolutely.
Because they stretch and do things they've not been doing for a long time.
But the big thing is, you see the progression and you see people getting better.
Yes.
So you have players who arrive and they say, this is, I play 2 or 3 times, 5-a-sides and all that kind of thing. And you know what? As you say, the first 10 minutes, and they start to understand that it's
different. Because it's different rules. The 3-touch makes it different.
Absolutely.
You're playing with a different kind of person altogether, and the ball's in the park all the time in these cages.
In the cage, yeah. And everything's got to go to feet. If it doesn't go to feet, you're encouraging people to run.
Yeah.
You can manipulate space by movement, but you can't manipulate space by acceleration into corner.
So when did you become? Where did you play in Glasgow then? What was your first session up here?
Well, it's interesting you're talking about golf, because the thing I fell into was golf.
Right.
Because the guys...
Don't talk about falling into it. We keep going back to yesterday and it just gets funny all over again.
It's good though. The thing is that you start playing golf and you get into this pub. Not necessarily a bad thing, because I used to be able to put
the 19th hole and all that.
Yes, all that nonsense, and blazers and slacks and committees and things.
Even golf outings are just an excuse for a heavy session.
Absolutely. Let's go to Spain for a week. No, I don't think so.
And not take the clubs out of the bag.
Absolutely right. But the thing is, with the golf thing, it becomes almost a non-sport.
Right.
There's no camaraderie about it, and because team golf is normally for high players. You might go over 50s and over 60s golf, I think, but you've not got that camaraderie. You've not got the stuff that goes on in the changing rooms.
Yeah, the banter.
The banter. Last week at Tory Glen, nobody had been in a shower for nearly 2 years. They were absolutely honking.
Of course, yeah.
The showers were open.
The
guys are in the changing room and they're all wandering about doing their thing, and the usual banter's going on.
We do shower at home,
No, that mob didn't. Trust me, they didn't. But the thing was, there was a competition on. The changing room door was open, and they're all wandering about in their belly buff. And I thought, boys, maybe shut the door. It was just, and then there was all the nonsense that went on around about that, So you don't have that in golf.
Right.
There is no open area into the changing room.
So what you're saying is that other than just the walking football, there's much more to this that meets the eye.
A lot more.
There's a lot of friendships are made through walking football. Right now, there's a group next door talking about old days and talking about memories, sporting memories, Scotland.
Absolutely.
Yep. So you became a coach when?
Coming up 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, I've just come to the back end of my first.
With Glasgow Life?
With Glasgow Life.
Okay.
So what happened was, we were running out of coaches.
Right.
And I said, well, I'll volunteer. You know, I had absolutely no intention of getting involved.
To the degree
To
you
the
are now.
degree that, you know, you kind of go put the toe in the water and then you
didn't think someday I'm going to make it on talking football with Simon Mclean.
It was that a living legend.
You've made it now.
You know, it's so exciting.
And as I said to a guy on a podcast thing, he told me I was the 24th person that he had interviewed.
Really?
You're not as many as that, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
But 24th out of nearly 8 billion people is pretty good.
I think so. I think so. Yeah. And how many had written a book?
That's true. That's another podcast altogether.
Oh, it's got to be. It's got to be. I'm waiting for the second volume.
So, coaching with Glasgow Club, and now you've been allocated or selected or whatever the word might be to take on some special sessions for Glasgow Club. Tell us a wee bit about that and how it came about, Drew, if you don't mind.
My family have had Parkinson's in and around it for going on 30 years between my grandfather and my mother. And I always felt that, you know, kind of walking up to the top of Ben Nevis and the like,
all the charity
stuff was okay, but it wasn't really enough. You know, because money's every charity needs money, but I think there's a lot more you can do at an individual level on the ground with the people. So again, I must watch too much television, advertisement on about how people with disabilities and life against them got better through sport and through exercise. One of the kind of segments was about a player who had Parkinson's. And
we've got a player here who's a good example of that,
and what a good player he is.
Yeah.
You need to take that out.
We don't tell him, he's any good.
Okay, no, we don't like that. So the idea behind that was to reach out to Parkinson Scotland and see if they had walk-in football as part of their exercise portfolio, because they've got Parkinson's Warrior and know, yoga. Some great table tennis players in Glasgow representing Scotland and the UK. So you know, there's a lot of
because Parkinson's condition is very much to keep active. That's very much part of the treatment of it, to stave it off.
And that's fairly recent. That's within the last 4 or 5 years they've identified the fact that you can accelerate, not recovery, you can improve the condition through, or your period in that condition, through exercise. Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of science behind it.
I know you could go
No,
on.
I don't want to go into that because I'll likely lose it.
Well, I'd fall asleep as well.
Yeah, well,
yes, to that stuff. So not just Parkinson. So you started a session.
So we started a session, and we've got a pilot program working with Parkinson Scotland. And the idea is at the end of the pilot, we'll produce a paper which can go to Walking Football Scotland.
Brilliant.
Can be used as a template down at club level.
Yes.
So that coaches can see what we've learned. See what works, see what doesn't work, and give them an experience in Aberdeen, in Inverness, up in the Western Isles.
Because they always talk evidence-led, don't they?
Of course.
Because they know you've not got any hard evidence. Well, we will have.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, I'm covering for you next Wednesday. We've just launched the similar with dementia.
We have.
Yeah.
Again,
is that your baby as well?
That's my baby as well. Again, it's something that I've been interested in over the last maybe 10, 15 years. Did a lot of work with guys in my mother's nursing home, working with people with dementia, and it was good fun.
Okay, and this is nursing homes and places like that we're contacting?
Yes, we've been contacting nursing homes in the Glasgow area to bring their guys in as part of almost their activities programme.
Right.
One of the things that I'm more focused on is trying to get to the uncles, the grandpas, the dads of people that will maybe watch this who live at home, who are being cared for at home by a carer, and that might be a wife, a mother, an auntie, or whatever. Because these are the guys over the lockdown period that have had no access,
totally isolated,
and have been isolated. So bringing these guys
into
our community.
There's been a lot of deterioration in these conditions
Absolutely.
over that I think is still to surface.
Aye, you're on that.
I can see it because we had special sessions at the Walking Football before lockdown, and these guys have vanished. And when I was trying to phone to find out why they're not getting brought along, a lot of them have gone downhill over that 2 years.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we underestimate just being part of something and the socialisation that goes along with it.
And it's the same thing as, you know, the younger guys banging about in the dressing rooms and slamming doors and flinging, you know, flinging soap in it or whatever. But it's the same thing, just at a different level with different bunch of guys.
And it's actually why it's a beautiful game.
It is.
Isn't it?
It is. And when you score these goals that just dip and bend into the top right hand corner.
And just go too high. The ones that
sometimes
just,
they go high.
I saw one like that yesterday.
Did you?
It was a shame. It was a shame.
Beautiful. Thing of beauty. Thing of beauty. Tell you about the guy that
The
scored.
thing with that curve is you've got to get that curve on the ball to get it over some of the players that are lying about on the park.
Okay, this is going to be good. It's going to take months.
We've got a big thing next Monday with the launch of it's a dementia festival to invite everyone and kind of showcase walking football as well. Are you there next Monday?
No, I think you're going next Monday because you know I'm going to London.
Right. You're going to London again to watch television.
To watch television and learn about another group I could likely disadvantage.
You're probably the best man to ask this, Drew, in this environment about the future of walking football, because you're part of it and you're expanding it into different groups, to specialist groups as we go along. A great thing last Wednesday was there was a lad there, Douglas Dougie,
yes,
who was 79, 78, 70.
It was 89.
89.
89.
And some of the touches, and he was hard of hearing as well, so he couldn't really understand what we were trying to do. But he'd obviously, I think he played for Queen's Park.
He played for the Strollers back in the day.
Yeah, there's a story there about Douglas, isn't there?
There is, and it's a long story which we'll try and weave together. Big Dunk, who played with us, 89 years old, is called Duncan Ferguson. Duncan Ferguson last weekend went viral on Twitter due to some work he was doing with a wee guy who has disabilities.
This is Duncan Ferguson at Everton?
At Everton,
yes.
The professional footballer, or coach as he is now. And Big Dunk, in his own unimitable way, put his arms all round about this guy, brought him into the fold. I'll get you a jersey. You send me the drawing that you made of me. And this was it. This was the whole root of the story. That goes viral because it's Duncan Ferguson. But we had taken a wee video snap of Duncan, 89 years old, playing football
at Tory Glen last Wednesday.
Yes. And he does an absolutely magnificent step over. The ball goes through him to a winger,
right.
And he had the vision to know that the winger was there. We've got players that play with us just now who have no vision like that. Yeah. He was absolutely brilliant. So Big Dunk went viral with Big Dunk.
Right. Brilliant.
So not only does his family have a video of Big Duncan playing in Tory Glen, but he's went viral, which is it's a great story. Brilliant. It's a great story, and he's a lovely man.
I was there last Wednesday, as you know, and what I noticed was although people like Duncan are challenged, obviously challenged in coming along, football's instinctive in many ways. Yeah. The step over, the dummy, the reflex, it's still all there. Yeah. It's all there somewhere. Absolutely. And what playing football does is bring that out, and communication with other people.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
And just maybe as a final thing on the dementia thing, we've worked with Football Memories Scotland, and I know you guys do things with sporting memories down here at a club level. Yeah. But these guys have an hour or so after that dementia session where they talk about football with them and their memories of football. And you know, from that point of view, you're encouraging conversation and people to come out themselves and really, you know, be back in the club.
Apparently sport is second only to music for firing those neurons, those memory neurons that bring back all those, and not just the memories but the emotions that go along with it.
Absolutely. There's no two ways about it.
Drew, we could go on all day.
It is.
Thanks very much for coming in.
Glad you could give me the opportunity.